Welcome to the Gorillas Roar, Pittsburgh State's ultimate podcast experience, brought to you by the talented students of COM 475 audio production class. Get ready to dive into captivating conversations and gain unique insights as we spotlight the notable voices of Pittsburgh State, students, faculty, staff, and administrators who are making an impact through their achievements and contributions. I'm Brayton, and I am the host for this episode. Each episode, our student interviewers will bring you thought-provoking discussions with individuals whose accomplishments and stories help shape the Pitt State experience. Whether you're seeking inspiration, looking for tips on navigating college life, or simply craving engaging stories, this podcast is your go-to source for all things Pitt State. So grab your headphones, kick back, and join us on this enlightening journey through the voices that make Gorillas thrive. Today's episode is all about passion, purpose, and finding your voice. Broadcasting plays a huge role on campus life here at Pittsburgh State, from calling Gorilla games to giving students real-world media experience. Our guest, Ryan McColloch, knows that journey firsthand. He made his mark behind the mic as a student broadcaster from becoming a pilot school student, and recently earned a statewide recognition from the Kansas Association of Broadcasters. But before the awards and the accolades, Ryan was just a student with a love of sports and curiosity for storytelling. In this episode, we'll explore how Ryan first discovered broadcasting, what inspired him to chase his path, and what it's really like to learning the craft right here at Pittsburgh State. Whether you're into media, sports, or just figuring out your own college journey, Ryan's story is packed with lessons and motivation you won't want to miss. Ryan, first off, congratulations on your big win of the KAB Awards. How did it feel when you found out you placed first in color commentary and third in play-by-play?
It felt pretty good. It was the first time I had submitted anything for KABs, so the feeling of winning something in the state of Kansas, which I do feel like is very well represented in the sports broadcasting field, very competitive and very deep, made me feel pretty proud of that accomplishment because I know how many other worthy contestants there are.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you. For like people that don't really know you, what is your role at Pittsburgh State and what do you do?
The main thing I do at Pittsburgh State that I'm involved in is the sports broadcasting program. I like to call a lot of games. I'm involved with CAPS 13. Specifically, I love to do play-by-play and color commentary. I'll do other things off mic and off camera when I'm needed to. I like to be able to help out in any way that I can, but that's where I find the most fun is getting to help out with the sports broadcasting.
So you say you got into sports broadcasting at Pittsburgh State. All in all, what kind of like got you into the sports broadcasting world?
I've always wanted to do something with sports, and I've always loved sports broadcasting. I did not know how to get into it, and when I left high school, I went to pilot school. But when I transferred to Pittsburgh State after not wanting to be a pilot anymore, I was going to be a business major. I walked past Whitesit one day, and I saw a banner on the side of the building that said sports broadcasting. I asked my business advisor what that was about, and so then he hooked me up with Troy Como, and we talked over Zoom and switched my major over to communications and emphasis in media production, and I just went all into sports broadcasting from there.
So you say you've always wanted to be a broadcaster in that field. What was the big drawing method that brought you into it? What was the biggest pull in, like, I want to be a broadcaster, I want to commentate sports?
I would definitely say the feeling of being live, that there's no other feeling like it besides playing the game, of being live, talking about it. You can't mess up or everybody knows. You're getting to be that close to the game, so the games that I love, because I love sports. The first time I got to do it was actually I used to do PA for JV football when I was on the varsity team, and that was the first time I'd heard myself on a mic. And then from there, got an opportunity to start calling for a radio station, doing my old high school football games. And after my first game, I knew that this is what I wanted to do for my career.
How long have you been kind of in the system with broadcasting, whether it was here at Pittsburgh State or just starting off on PA with a smaller school?
When I was doing PA, I was a junior in high school. Actually, I did my first game as a sophomore. But my junior and senior year, I did a lot of PA. And then the first time I called for a radio station was my second year at a high school, so my second year of college. And that was really what made me fall in love with it. So technically 4 years now, I guess, is how long I've been doing broadcasting.
So your first place in color and third in play-by-play, if you had to choose which one you would just want to stick with, I know the first place comes in color, third place comes in play-by-play, but if you had to pick the one, what would be the one of the two?
If I could only get first place in one of them, I probably would pick play-by-play, and that might also just because I didn't win it last time, so then it was more of a chip on the shoulder type of thing of I want to get back to it. I feel like I'm able to flow pretty freely from both of those, and I can do them both, but I would say I have more fun in play-by-play. I don't know if that's selfishness or like trying to be on the mic more. I just have fun getting to have the energy. I don't feel like I get to have the energy as much when I do color because I'm breaking things down after the play. But during the play, I can really bring out that emotion and that energy and make the fan feel it at home.
You know, it's really cool to hear how the interest turned into something bigger once you got involved here at Pittsburg State. It's awesome seeing how a simple love for sport can lead to a career behind the mic. There's a lot more to Ryan's story, including what it took to earn statewide recognition, and we'll get into that next. Now that we've met Ryan, let's talk about what landed him in the spotlight. His award-winning KAB experience, the Kansas Association of Broadcasters competition, is no small feature, bringing together some of the best young broadcasters in the state. Ryan's work stood out for its professionalism, energy, and attention to detail, earning him top honors. We'll dive into what the experience is like, what's going into prepping for award-winning commentary, and the lessons he's learned along the way. So let's talk about the Kansas Association of Broadcasters. What's the experience like for students who compete?
For me, it was 2 weeks of trying to decide the best game, and I really liked a basketball game I had done. But sadly, for play-by-play, I didn't get to use that game because when I talked to my teacher about it, Dr. Troy Como, for whatever reason, that was just one game we didn't have on file, and we keep pretty much every game on file. So it was unfortunate, but all I did was I called a women's basketball game that night. Didn't fully understand the rules. Apparently, you can take your favorite bits and pieces from the call. I didn't know that. I just took a raw 10 minutes, threw it in there, and it got third place. So that was still pretty exciting for me. But that feeling of last second, like having to get it done and calling a game, it was different. I had Dr. Kate Allred, who's a phenomenal teacher here, really helped me out with that. She was able to help me cut it up quickly and make it look cleaner. And then I would say for my color commentary award, I knew which one I wanted. I wanted to do the football game I had done. Devin Bomston was doing play-by-play. I felt like we called well together. And they were playing Emporia State. And they had a really good quarterback named Gunnar Gundy, who I knew a lot of stuff about before he got to Emporia. And specifically, there was a point early in that game where I described an interception really well that Pittsburg State's quarterback threw and what happened. And then as Gunnar Gundy came on the field, I really broke down him as a player, what you can expect from him. And then I predicted like 3 plays in a row that he was going to run before the play happened. And so I knew that was the 10 minutes I was going to pick, but it was about cutting that up cleanly. And Kate Allred helped me do that. So it's kind of a rush because you're trying to make it as clean as possible. You know, everyone else is doing the same thing. And I wouldn't say it's competition. It's more of just like friendly pushing each other to be better between the broadcasters we have here at Pittsburg State. I think we all work really well together and we do a good job cheering each other on. But you're not just competing against guys at your own school anymore. We'll go to the MLA tournament for Hays State. Now you're competing against the state of Kansas, who's very deep in broadcasting. And so I was more wanting to see, I wanted to do good, but I wanted Pittsburg State to do well. So my ultimate goal last year, and it's to be the same goal this year, is to have Pittsburg State holding the throne in all 3 places, whether that be play-by-play and color.
So let's stick to more of your first place, your color commentary. What did you submit for your KAB? And like, can you kind of break it down for me on like what would it look like for that first place award?
Specifically was finding that 10 minutes where I really broke down the game well, because as color commentary, you're not the one that's doing the talk during the play. You're coming in after. So your voice is not going to be even the majority of it. You're going to have the play-by-play guy doing that. So you want someone that you trust and that you also like, someone that you work well with. And so you need to find the best points of the game where you had consecutive plays and honestly 2 drives in a row where you nailed it after each play of what was happening and what was about to happen. So it was really finding that, listening to it in depth, making sure I'm not slurring my words at all, because that's all things that are going to be judged. And now when specifically they only let you do audio, so they could not see the play at all, the judges. And so I needed to make sure what I'm describing to them, they can see it in their head. And I think me doing radio as well, because the high school I call for, the radio station, we do have a stream, but also a lot of our listeners are on radio. So I have to describe to them what that is like, even though they can't see it. And I think I was able to do that in the Emporia State game. And so when it came time for the judges to listen to it, when they couldn't see the play, I was able to paint the picture for them.
So let's move on a little bit to like some preparation. Everybody's got their little quirks and stuff on what they do. And from what I know, you have something very special you do before preparing for a football game or basketball game. What's that one thing you do for preparation that like avoids everybody else?
Well, number one thing that I like to do is I like to watch highlights of the team they're about to play. That's a pretty normal thing, but I like to see how people play, what's their style, need to know who to expect. But then when I wake up in the morning, I have the same routine every single game day. I wake up, if I don't have class and it's more of a morning or afternoon game, but I'm going to be just broadcasting that day, I get up, get in the shower about 10 a.m., and I hop in and I'm doing my calls in the shower of what I'm about to do. So if I'm doing a basketball game, I might be, fries and kicks at the corner, tagger at 3. It's good. Trying to practice hearing myself say that. So that way when I'm live in the game, I already know what I'm going to say for them when that moment happens. And it's not just big plays like that, just doing simple things, different ways I can say a reversal across the court or a downfield pass, different ways to say things, widen my vocabulary. After I do that, while I'm taking the shower and doing the calls, I have a playlist that I play, and it is the same 8 songs every single game day. It starts off with James Brown, The Boss, and then the final song that I listen to is Superstar by Luke Fiasco, and that's like as I'm walking in, I'll play that song again because it's more of just getting my head cleared, and I enter a different mindset. I feel like when I go to the booth, I get into almost a competitive mindset of I'm going to give you the best broadcast that I've ever done every single time. So I do that, and then also as I get my suit on, get the tie on, I got my playlist, I drive to 7 Brew. I get an energy drink, large. It's a Brewberry, which is strawberry and blue raspberry with lavender. I drink one of those before every single broadcast. Usually I finish it by the time I get to the arena. And then I walk in and I play Superstar one last time. And I go up to the booth or wherever I'm going to be calling and I get going from there.
So just kind of hitting on the broadcasting part again, do you have any like big memorabilia moments that you can hit on during, like that's happened during a broadcast or who you've worked with, something that you'll never forget that's happened in a game that hits home to you the most?
It's a really good question. I would say my first year that I called for Pittsburgh State, I called a game with a good friend of mine, Anthony Paredes, and it was the first time we got to do basketball together because there was guys like Drake Miller and Devin Bompshin who were phenomenal broadcasters that were ahead of us, had great voices. For whatever reason, they were busy that day, and so we got to call Pittsburgh State versus Central Oklahoma, who was number 3 in the country at that time, coming off an MIAA championship. They had the number 1 point guard in all of America in Division II. And somehow, some way, Coach Boshi and the boys pulled the upset, and I was on the play-by-play call. And so that was the first big game I got to call that had probably a good amount of viewers, and it was the number 3 team in the nation going down. And I can just remember I said the number 3 team in the land goes down in the jungle, and it just felt really cool because I felt like I was a big-time guy. And I got to work alongside a Fox Sports broadcaster named Jill Dorsey, so that was a highlight moment because she is an absolute legend in college sports. She calls a lot of college basketball. She's in college football. Great broadcaster of college softball, and I watch a lot of college softball. She's got to commentate for my Sooners a lot, so I knew her voice, and so getting to work with her was awesome.
Those awards are such a big deal, and it's clear that all the effort paid off. The way you prepare, the way you handle each broadcast, it really shows. Coming up, we'll talk about what's the life at Pittsburgh State as a broadcaster looks day to day and how those experiences have shaped Ryan's journey. Beyond all the awards, Ryan's journey at Pittsburgh State shows how hands-on experience can truly transform a student's career path. From calling guerrilla games to collaborating with classmates and mentors, his time here has been full of growth, challenges, and unforgettable moments. In this part of our conversation, Ryan shares how Pittsburgh State has shaped him as a broadcaster, what it's like representing the Gorillas on air, and how these experiences are preparing him for the next step in his career. So being a student here at Pittsburgh State, you've been doing this for a couple of years. You transferred in from pilot school. How has Pittsburgh State helped you grow as a broadcaster? Is there any certain classes or professors that's really made this experience as a broadcaster just so impactful at Pittsburgh State?
I would say I've grown a lot as a broadcaster for sure at Pittsburgh State, because I got to a class that was literally just called sports broadcasting, and you get an opportunity to call the live Pitt State games as the mainstream, the main network. On air, you get to be on camera, wear a suit, wear a tie. You get to feel like you're really a professional, and that's what the level we hold ourselves to as a professional broadcast. So I've got to do that a lot. I've commentated. I did over 100 games in 3 years, which I was pretty proud of. I know I can do more than that now. And honestly, when you're in the class, they make you do 15 a semester. So if you did Sports 1 and Sports 2, which is your options, that would only be 30 broadcasts if you did just those. And I think I did way more my second year than I did when I was actually in the class, just doing it voluntarily and for the love of the game. But you grow so much and you get so much better. And I would say Pittsburgh State's really showed me the professionalism of being a sports broadcaster, what it takes in preparation. But then also it's shown me just how to be a better person. I've grown a lot as a human here. I would say I've grown more in my 4 years at Pittsburgh State than I did growing up in Monette when I was there K through 12. Because I was the first time I was on my own. I wasn't living with my parents. It was the first time not sleeping in the same house. And so I had to really go out and make something of my own. And it's been my own thing that I can be proud of. And it's made Pittsburgh my home.
Well, Ryan, I really appreciate you joining me. I feel like we had a great conversation here talking about your KABs. I really hope here in the next coming year that you add some more plaques to your wall, some more to your name. But yeah, all in all, I just wish you the best luck when it comes to KABs.
Thank you. You too.
My name is Brayton Lynn, and I've been your host for this episode of The Gorillas Roar, where we explored Kansas Association of Broadcasters with Ryan McColloch as a sports broadcasting student at Pittsburgh State. Thank you for joining us on this enlightening journey through the higher education at Pitt State. We hope this episode has given you valuable insights into the achievements and contributions of the remarkable individuals who shape our campus community. Now it's your turn to take action. If you want to learn more about today's guests or the area of campus they represent, reach out directly, attend one of their events, or explore their work online. You can find additional information on Pittsburgh State University website at pittstate.edu. Like our podcast, subscribe to our channel, and share your thoughts and feedback in the comments or reviews. We'd love to hear from you. Connect with us on our CAPS 13 and PSU Department of Communication social media channels. Your feedback helps us grow and continue bringing inspiring conversations. Spread the word. If you found this episode meaningful, share it with your friends, classmates, or anyone who might benefit from these stories. Together, we can celebrate the voices' accomplishments that make Gorilla Nation thrive. Remember, the Gorillas Roar is your go-to source for all things Pitt State. Keep tuning in for future episodes filled with inspiring stories, practical tips, and engaging discussions. Whether you're an aspiring leader, a curious explorer, or simply someone making the most of your college years, we've got you covered. Thank you once again for listening. Stay curious, stay inspired, and keep roaring with the Gorillas.